In our top story, a criminal case has been initiated over the crash of an Azerbaijan airline plane in Kazakhstan's Aktau. 38 of the 67 people on board lost their lives, leaving 29 survivors. Ilham Aliyev, the president of Azerbaijan, said that the public will be regularly informed about the results of the commission's work and the progress of the criminal case. The flight, an Embraer 190, was en route Azerbaijani capital of Baku to the Russian city of Grozny in the North Caucasus. The plane's course on the flight radar website showed it flying away from its normal route, crossing the Caspian Sea and then circling over the area where it eventually crashed near Aktau, which is an oil and gas hub on the eastern shore of the sea. Now, reports claim while near Grozny, which was the flight's destination, surviving passengers heard an explosion, followed by what looked like shrapnel hitting the plane and entering the fuselage. The reports quoted a Russian military blogger who said that the damage to the aircraft suggested that the plane may have been struck by an air defense missile system. Grozny is heavily defended as Kadyrov's Chechen fighters are extremely important to the Kremlin and a high-value target to the Ukrainians. Azerbaijan president declared a day of national mourning and cancelled a planned visit to Russia for an informal summit of the leaders of Commonwealth of Independent States, which is a grouping of former Soviet nations. Russian President Vladimir Putin held a conversation with Aliyev on the phone and also expressed his condolences in connection with the crash. Later, Putin said that a Russian emergency situation ministry has been sent to Aktau with medical personnel and other equipment. And to discuss more, we are now being joined by Janusz Januszewski. He is an aviation expert and former president of the PANSA, that stands for Polish Air Navigation Services Agency. Thank you so much for taking out your time and joining us on the show.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Good morning.
Let me just begin by asking you, with so many conspiracy theories such as the accident was caused by a bird or whether it was shot down, according to you, what could have been the possible reason for the crash?
Okay, first of all, we have to say that the aviation is full of procedures and the safety nets which prevents from the air accidents. So in this case, because we don't have many informations, but possible, of course, official information is nowadays or during the past hours that there was a bird strike. Of course, it is a possible reason that the airplane was hit by birds, but of course, we've seen and we see many pictures and the footages in internet that the possible cause or possibility of the reason of the air crash could be unfortunately hit by the projectiles or the gunshots, so the missiles. And unfortunately, during the war, because we have the war between the Russia and Ukraine state, there is a huge possibility that it might have the aircraft might have been hit by the projectiles, and I wouldn't reject that reason or possibility of that.
Right. And you happen to be an aviation expert. Is there anything one can derive from the video that has emerged, the witness video, and the debris that has been seen so far?
Okay, from my experience, we can see, especially because the footage was taken at the end of the aircraft, that the vertical stabilizer or the horizontal stabilizer and the rudder possibly could be hit by the projectiles, unfortunately. But of course, I wouldn't reject also the reasons of the bad weather, because we heard that there was a bad weather and the aircraft was circling, so was waiting or was at the position in the holding stack. So there might be a lot of reasons, and of course it has to be checked by the safety investigators. But there is a full package of the possible reasons which could occur during that horrible flight and horrible crash in the morning of the Christmas time.
Right. And the area where the crash occurred, as you also mentioned, has its importance. Grozny is heavily defended, as Kadyrov's Chechen fighters are extremely important to Kremlin. And as well as this area is also where Ukrainian drones have been spotted before. What do you have to say on that?
Yeah, of course, we can read also on internet that the nearest possible airport where the aircraft could land was the Makhachkala airport. And unfortunately, during that time, the Makhachkala airport was closed because of the heavy drone activities. The war between Russia and Ukraine and Russia, unfortunately, is marked with uses of full packages of the drones, UAVs, UAS in the airspace. So I wouldn't reject even that reason or possible occurrence of that crash, unfortunately.
Right. And also, well, there happens to be another incident that took place on December 23rd. A Russian military cargo ship sank in the Mediterranean Sea, and reports do say that some explosions occurred before it sank. What are your how do you derive this whole accidents happening?
I will tell you from the other part, because at the beginning of the war in February 2022, I was running the position of the CEO of PANSA, Polish Navigation Services Agency, and I was a part of the team which was responsible for preparing the airspace for the possible airstrike. Unfortunately, when we are during the war time, we have to be prepared for every possibility. There are just 2 days ago, during the Christmas Eve, there was a huge air missile strikes from Russia, probably from Black Sea towards the Ukraine airspace. So there is a possibility that some kind of missiles, projectiles, could be unfortunately flying not according to the trajectory which was planned, but loss of control or something, that kind of reasons. So we have to be prepared in the aviation that in the areas, in the airspaces which are around that horrible conflict, unfortunately, there might occur some kind of accidents or the lost missiles or projectiles.
So, of course, we know that the black box has been taken into custody, and we don't really have a lot of information of how this happened. But thank you so much for your analysis of the accident, Mr. Schutz.
Thank you very much.